So this week we watched The Seven Samurai from 1954, directed by Akira Kurosawa, of course. It's kind of a historical epic, I would call it a historical epic. And it's on the list because it's from John Turturro's Adventures in Moviegoing. You know John Turturro. He played the older brother in Monk. Nobody remembers him from that. You've seen him in the Coen Brothers films. Yeah, a lot of good things on this particular list I could have chosen from. On the Waterfront, Rocco and His Brothers, Wild Strawberries. Dude has good taste. But this is something I had been meaning to watch for a while, so it definitely got added to the list for that reason. My experience with Kurosawa is sorely lacking, so I have wanted to correct that for ages, and this is finally an opportunity to do so. So yeah, like I said, this was a film from 1954. Kurosawa directed it. He did not write it. It's a story about a village of poor and desperate farmers during the Sengoku period of Japan, where there's just constant civil wars and bandits happening and whatnot. Rough time. Very rough time. So this village keeps getting raided by bandits. And one of the villagers overhears the bandits being like, we'll come back from their crops ready. They got nothing right now. So he's like, I gotta go warn the town. We gotta get ready. We gotta do something about this. What are we gonna do? And so, here's how poor the town is. They don't even have a proper town hall. They just all sit down out in the open and have a little conversation while they're sitting on the dirt. The old man comes up with the plan of, we're gonna go hire some samurai to take care of this. Now, maybe this was different in the Sengoku period, I don't know, but samurai are basically knights sworn to a feudal lord. So they're not usually for hire. But when they send one of their guys out to the town to go to try to recruit some people, and sure enough, there's just swordsmen wandering through town. They don't have anything to offer to pay. They're a poor village. So they're like, look, we don't have anything to pay you, we don't have money, but come by, we'll give you all the rice you can eat. And they don't actually have a lot of rice, so that is an issue. A lot of the villagers are eating millet, which is not appetizing, just so that they can save up enough rice to pay off these samurai. They eventually find one guy who's willing to pitch in. He's like, alright, you have a good cause. I'm probably not the best person for it because, I've been in a lot of fights, a lot of battles. I don't usually win them, but I'll help, I guess. It's just bandits after all. And so that's the first guy. He has another fellow who is like following him around. He wants to be like a disciple to him, so he's like, yeah, I'll show you the ropes, but I don't actually want you involved in the battle or anything, so, for the time being, just stay back. And they recruit a, honestly, colorful and diverse cast of characters. It's, they actually have, and this is a problem with a lot of older films like this, is a lot of the characters just seem kind of flat. It's like I watched the original Ocean's 11, and everybody except for Sammy was like indistinguishable. I couldn't do it. But in this, I'm like, okay, they all have different patterned outfits. They all have very unique looks. They all have wildly different moods. You got the old guy who knows how to do it, but like has lost his confidence. You got the young upstart who's like, scrappy and he wants to learn. You got the happy giant guy. He's just, always in a good mood. He's always laughing and he's huge. You got the quiet, serious one, who absolutely knows what the hell he's doing. You got the poser, who's, Toshiro Mifune's character is like not actually even a samurai. He's like, yeah, I'm totally a samurai. Invite me along for this. I've got what it takes. And he's not a trained samurai. He's not a samurai at all. He's never sworn an oath to a noble lord or anything. But he's talented. He is just a little headstrong. He's Scrappy-Doo. He's the Scrappy-Doo of the group. He's impetuous, but he has a lot of spirit. And you have to forgive that of a talking dog. They got one fella who's just a very trusted ally of the old guy. He's like a veteran, he knows what he's doing, he's also been around the block a few times, and the fact of the matter is they trust him. Not a lot going on there for backstory, but, And then you got the seventh guy who's just a really fantastic morale builder. He's apparently a very mediocre swordsman, but the folks love him. He made the flag that they fight under. And so it's just the story of a lot of the film is acquiring your forces to do the defense, arming the village, setting up some traps and whatnot, scouting out all of the, what the bandits have, and then the long protracted dealing with them. And do they ever deal with them? Like, it's not one big battle. It's like a series of skirmishes, basically. Samurai know what's going on. They have like an accurate count of how many bandits they are. Like at one point, they know how many guns they have. It's only 3, but they know they have them. At one point, 2 of the villagers are like, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna steal one of their guns. And that'll like diminish their forces. And the serious samurai, who's like totally badass and knows what he's doing, he's like, no, that will be the death of you. I'll go do it. And so this guy just goes off into the woods, and then like 10 minutes later he comes back and he's like, alright, I got one of their guns, and mark like 4 of their guys off the list. Like, he just went out, killed 4 guys, and took a gun. Didn't get seen, didn't get touched. He's badass. And then we get the line of the film. Well, maybe not the line of the film, but it stood out to me for reasons I will elucidate on. Right now, in fact, I may as well. This film was the inspiration for The Magnificent Seven, which was then remade somewhat recently with Denzel in it. But yeah, one of the biggest westerns of all time, with a star-studded cast, inspired by a Japanese film. I have not watched The Magnificent Seven, so I can't say exactly how closely it follows the story. It's cribbed from this. Like, this is where this came from. And that is the thing with Kurosawa's work, he's super influential, and it gets mirrored a lot in Western media. George Lucas has talked about the impact that his films have had on his work. Without Kurosawa, we might not have Star Wars. And I will say, like, everybody has this attitude in the film where they're like, we need samurai. The samurai will be able to protect us from the bandits. And so they have this like air of invulnerability to them, where you're just like, okay, yeah, these guys know what they're doing. They'll just be able to like, wah, and then the guys are dead, And no problem. It'll be like a Dynasty Warriors game. You never lose to just trash mobs. You mow through those guys like they're, made of tissue paper. And then you find out, like, no, these guys are actually very vulnerable. One of them straight up dies. They kill one of them. And not even the one who I couldn't remember the stuff about. It was like the big happy giant guy. It'd be like if Ocean's 11 killed Basher, You'd be like, whoa, I'm sorry, what? That's on the table now? You expect this to be like a heroic triumph of these 7 characters over the forces of evil. But no, half of them fucking die. I don't want to go into things too much, but yeah. Anybody's expendable. Anybody could go. You don't know what's happening. You don't know what could happen. And that makes this real, and it keeps you very engaged. This movie is incredibly long. Second longest movie I think I've ever watched. This is so long that it has an intermission in it. So like, if you gotta get up to use the bathroom in the middle of the movie, there is deliberately inserted a place for that. That's how long it is. It's 208 minutes. But it certainly doesn't feel like 3.5 hours. And the film ends, of course, obviously, they do end up being able to protect the village and defeating all the bandits. But it just ends with the villagers all celebrating and singing as they work the fields. And the remaining protagonists are just like somber and looking at the graves of their dead companions. And they're like, this wasn't a victory for us. We didn't win today. It's like, that could have been said by any of them. And that's what it is that they weren't fighting for themselves. They were fighting specifically for the village. And so, like, they don't have a sense of, glory for this. This was not a fight for anything like that. This was a fight to defend people. So, like, yes, they won in a sense, but, like, there was no actual profit or anything. Not that that's what they should be going for, but, like, yeah, the losses and the fact that it's just like a return to regular life for the villagers, it's not like a big world-changing thing. It's just like, we took care of that, and it sucked to do it. But yeah, this was a very solid film. Highly recommend. The action is good, the camera work is fantastic, and that's the thing, is that we can talk about the story all we want, but like, obviously, if the big thing is that it's directed by Akira Kurosawa, then like, yeah, you're gonna want to look at the way that things are delivered, the way that things are shot, and yeah, he knows what he's doing with the camera, definitely. bonus points because, like, for the last, I want to say, 45, 30 minutes of the film, Toshiro Mifune just had his whole ass out. I wasn't expecting that.
Nudity.
Yeah, you know, clear your calendar, give it a watch. And speaking of giving things a watch, terrible transition. What are we going to see next time? Go! Alright, down they go, into the Plinko board. This is an actual legit just pegboard. I kind of love it. Okay, out front, 3 women. A man escaped. The hit. Oh, this gets wonky here. Okay, 3 women still out front. A man escaped over there. We got split paths. 3 women is gonna hold its lead, probably. Linguini incident behind it. Cecil B. Demented, Kiss of the Spider Woman, and Charade. Over on the other side, we have a man escaped. There's pegs over here. They hit the pegs. Ooh, they have pegs too. Okay. How? Goodbye. The killers and Cecil B. Demented both sent flying. Last hurrah for chivalry is pulled ahead over here. Yeah, it has a commanding lead over the other side, which Repo Man and Fierce City are out front over there. Here comes the Linguini incident. 3 women is catching up. It's a cornfield. I thought this was just straight up pegs. No, this is a cornfield. Last hurrah for chivalry, still out front. This is our action film from the series. It is John Woo's first directorial debut. It is a period piece for ancient China, as I recall correctly. Oh, Fierce City getting ahead onto the ramp. Okay, Fierce City over on this side, going into that curve. Over on the other side, the Linguini incident has jumped ahead. Fierce City, Linguini incident, every weekend, a Colts in my passport, 3 women. Fierce City, followed distantly by Last Hurrah for Chivalry and the Doom Generation. Gosh, we have another set of pegs. I believe these are what sent things flying before. Fierce City hits a peg and stops dead in its tracks for a moment, giving the others time to catch up. The Doom Generation is out ahead now, and coming down the other side is Never Weaken, but it might get snagged by a UFO. It's a photo finish. Oh my god, they fell to their death. Okay. Number 1, Last Hurrah for Chivalry, came out in the end. Followed by Never Weakened, 3 women, Repo Man. Things are just falling off to their deaths. Are we even going to get 10 land in the actual thing? Dear Lord. Teorema at least managed to land in the bucket. Vampire, are you going to stick the landing? No. Sweet Smell of Success, maybe? Yes, okay. Our winner, the Last Hurrah for Chivalry. Alright. Yeah, Last Hurrah for Chivalry, Never Weakened, 3 women, Repo Man, The Fabulous Baron Munchausen, After Hours, The Phantom of the Monastery, A Man Escaped, Teorema, The Sweet Smell of Success, and then I may as well mention Repo Man as well because it's only the first 11 managed to finish. Also, hello, welcome on in. You've just caught us at the tail end of our Zelda race, and we are now picking our movie to watch for the week. It's The Last Hurrah for Chivalry. Let's have a look at my list and see what's going on with this. Last Hurrah for Chivalry from 1979. It's on the list because it's never been picked by anybody who went into the Criterion Closet. That's a weird record. Directed by John Woo, as I said. It's a martial arts action drama. 7 out of 10 rating on IMDb. 107 minutes. A little bit longer than the ideal hour and a half. Not 2 hours though. This isn't bad.